Arthritis pain, joint pain, muscle tension. I teach my patients to surf this pain away with 16 simple stretches. S.U.R.F. This is about 4 simple movements that when done properly will help to relieve your pain. And it turns out that when you put the first letter of each one of those movements together, it spells out one of my favorite words, and that is S.U.R.F. So in this video, we are only going to focus on the S part, which stands for stretching. I am going to work through your entire body, starting at the top, and we're going to stretch and loosen out arthritic pain in every joint inside your body. And stick around because this is only one of a 4-part series of videos. You're going to want to keep surfing and hit the other movements in the S.U.R.F. protocol to continue your progress to a pain-free body. So let's start at the neck with the pocket stretch. This stretch targets the most common hotspots that cause pain in the neck, and it should produce a discomfort that hurts in a good way.
To do the pocket stretch, you're going to start sitting up straight on a bench or on a chair. Now pull your shoulders back and lengthen your neck so that you're sitting up tall and straight. Now reach down with your left hand and hold the seat of the chair. This will prevent your left arm and shoulder from moving as you do the stretch. Now turn your head 45 degrees to the right, away from the side that you're holding, and using your right hand, reach up and grasp the back of your head behind your left ear. Now gently pull your head downward so that your chin is pointing towards the right-sided pants pocket. Now hold that stretch for 3 to 5 seconds and then release. Repeat that 8 to 10 times and then reverse the process for the opposite side.
Now the next is the scalene stretch at the front of the neck. This stretch loosens the scalene muscles. They're located right here on either side of the neck, and they are the muscles that tend to get tight due to stress and due to poor posture.
To do the scalene stretch, you're going to start sitting upright on a bench or on a chair. Now use both of your hands to find the collarbone, which is the clavicle, and trace it towards the midline. And you're going to encounter a knobby end of that bone where it meets the top of your sternum or your breastbone. Now you want to cover that bony end with both of your hands, gently press inward and downward, pulling that clavicle towards the floor. Now in this position, turn your head towards the opposite side. So if you're holding your right clavicle, turn your head toward the left and then extend your head as if you are looking up at the sky. Maintain the tension on that clavicle as you slowly flex and extend the head and feel the release in those scalene muscles. You can stretch and release each side of the scalene muscles for about 1 minute.
And now we're moving down to the shoulders. If you are experiencing pain and tension in your shoulders, try these movements. The first one is the wall crawl.
To do the wall crawl, you're going to stand facing a wall with your toes about 1 foot away from that wall. Now place your palms against the wall with your fingers pointing upward and your elbows at about 90-degree angles. And now begin to slowly walk your fingers up the wall until you start to feel the pull underneath your arms. Now you can add some extra force to this movement by leaning into the wall with your body. You're going to hold that position at maximum stretch for 2 to 3 seconds and then crawl back down and repeat that process 8 to 10 times.
And next is the corner stretch.
To do the corner stretch, you're going to stand facing into a corner between 2 walls. Put 1 foot right into the corner with the other foot just about 1 step behind. Now place your forearms and your palms on each wall with your elbows at or just slightly above the height of your shoulders. And now press your chest into the corner as far as you possibly can without any pain and hold that position at maximum stretch for just about 2 to 3 seconds and then release and repeat 8 to 10 times.
I talk all about my complete S.U.R.F. method for complete and permanent pain relief in my best-selling hardcover book, The Bone on Bone Secret. There is a link in the description below for you to check that out. Now let's get into the upper back. If you are feeling tension in your upper back, these stretches are going to work right through those tight muscles. Let's start with the standing or the seated upper back extension.
To do the standing or seated extension for the upper back, stand or sit up tall, shoulders back, draw your belly in, and try not to arch your lower back. Now, clasp your hands just behind your head, nod your head forward so your elbows are pointing down towards the floor, and then engage your upper back and extend your spine upward, pointing your elbows towards the ceiling. Hold that position at maximum stretch for 2 to 3 seconds and repeat 8 to 10 times.
Coming up next is the kneeling chair extension.
To do the kneeling chair extension, you're going to kneel down on your knees in front of a chair or a couch or a bed, and then rest your elbows on that chair. Now press your chest toward the floor and sink down into your hips. You're going to feel a stretch in your upper back and between your shoulder blades. Hold that position for 2 to 3 seconds and repeat 8 to 10 times, pressing further into the stretch with each one.
And now for the lower back. The lower back is a trouble area for people who have a more sedentary lifestyle, like people who sit at a desk or work for long periods of time in a chair. These stretches are therapeutic movements that help to lengthen and strengthen those muscles that are not being used if you are sitting all day. They target the most common hotspots that cause low back pain, and they should produce a good pain or a pain that hurts in a good way. The first stretch is the Sphinx and the Cobra.
To do the Sphinx and the Cobra, you're going to start by lying flat on your stomach with your palms on the floor right at the level of your shoulders. Gradually elevate the upper body using your hands and your arms to create an arch in your lower back. As your back begins to get more flexible, you'll press higher and higher up into the position until you reach the full Cobra.
And next is the Child's Pose.
To do the Child's Pose, you're going to begin by sitting on your knees. Now, slowly roll forward, bending deeply at the waist as your arms begin to reach out and touch the floor in front of you. Now begin to walk your fingers out in front of you as far as they can reach as you feel a comfortable opening feeling in the spinal segments of your lumbar spine. Inhale, relax. Exhale, stretch.
Moving on to the hips. The hips can be another area of tension if you're sitting for long periods of time. Stretching the muscles in the hip and the pelvis will help to decrease tension and elongate shortened muscles that can restrict movement over time. So this first stretch is called the Pigeon Pose.
The Pigeon Pose is a great multi-purpose hip and pelvis stretch. To do it, start in the tabletop position on all fours. Now bring your left knee forward with the lower leg flat so that your left foot is near your right hand and your left knee is near your left hand. Ideally, the left lower leg should draw a line between both of your hands. Now begin to slide your right leg backward and extend the knee until your thigh comes close to touching the floor. Keeping your hips facing forward, shift your weight so that your left buttock comes close to the floor. And stay in this position for 30 to 60 seconds. To come out of the stretch, press down with your hands and bring your right knee forward, returning to the starting position on all fours and then switching to the other side.
Next is the butterfly stretch.
To do the butterfly, you're going to sit on the floor with your head held high, your chest proud, and your back straight. Now bend your knees and bring the bottoms of your feet together in front of you. Now grasp your ankles with your hands and gently pull your feet as close as you comfortably can. Tighten your abdominals and exhale as you lean forward from your hips, bringing your torso over your legs. Gently press down on your knees with your elbows or with your hands and continue that downward pressure for 3 to 5 seconds at maximum stretch and then release and repeat 10 to 12 times.
And onto the knees. This series of exercises targets the different muscles that surround and support the knee, which are common hotspots that cause people pain. You may feel some mild discomfort when you do these, but not sharp pain. If you experience sharp knee pain, stop. The first stretch focuses on the upper part of the calf.
To stretch the upper calf, you're going to want to find a step or a curb with a handrail nearby or something to support you and keep your balance. Now step up onto the step with both feet and allow one heel to hang off the back of the step. Press that heel toward the ground and hold at maximum stretch for 2 to 3 seconds, then relax and repeat that process 8 to 10 times before you switch to the other side.
Next, the hamstrings. The hamstring group crosses the knee on both sides in the back of the leg, and tension in any of these muscles can cause biomechanical problems and the pain in the knee. So let's stretch those out next.
The hamstrings can be stretched from a number of different starting positions, but all of them involve
bending at the hips with the knee extended or straight. Many people with knee pain prefer a standing starting position for a hamstring stretch. So stand up tall, facing a short table or a chair, and lift the involved leg so that the heel is resting on the chair. Now, keeping the back straight and flat, begin to bend at the waist until you feel that stretch in the back of the thigh. Inhale, relax. Exhale, stretch. The elbow, wrist, and hand. If you are suffering from tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, carpal tunnel syndrome, this series of stretches is for you. This stretch is for the wrist flexors. To do the wrist flexor stretch, start by extending your arm with your elbow locked and the palm facing up. Now bend back your wrist, pointing your fingers toward the floor. Now, using the other hand, gently apply some overpressure until you feel the stretch in your forearm. Hold that position for 3 seconds, then relax, release, and repeat. Repeat that 8 to 10 times. Now, this stretching sequence can also be repeated using a palm down starting position and bringing the hand upward, fingers towards the ceiling. This position tends to stretch the muscle fibers closer to the wrist and the hand in the forearm. And now let's reverse it with the wrist extensor stretch. To do the wrist extensor stretch, extend your arm with the elbow locked, palm facing down, and then make a fist. Now flex your wrist so that your fist points toward the floor. Using your other hand, gently add some overpressure until you feel the stretch in your forearm. Hold that position for 3 seconds and repeat 8 to 10 times. The ankle and the foot. If you are suffering from plantar fasciitis, these are great stretches for you. First, we're going to do the plantar fascia stretch. The plantar fascia stretch is a quick and simple stretch that should be done every morning before getting out of bed and repeated frequently throughout the day anytime you've been sitting for long periods. Here's how it's done. Cross the affected leg over the other in a figure 4 position. Then using the hand on the affected side, so that's right foot, right hand, left foot, left hand, pull all of the toes back toward the shin bone. Then using the thumb of the opposite hand, gently massage the tender area in small circular motions for 20 to 30 seconds. As I said, this stretch should be repeated frequently throughout the day. It's especially important to do right before you stand up, especially if you've been sitting for extended periods. And next, here's a gastrocnemius stretch, the big muscle in the calf. The best way to stretch the gastrocnemius muscle is to step up onto a stair or a curb with the ball of the foot and allow the heel to hang down. Keep the knee in a straight and locked position. There's a variation here. You can also use a wall or a door jamb to accomplish the same effect. While wearing shoes, wedge the foot into the corner, lock the knee straight, and lean forward into the wall. Another gastrocnemius stretch is the familiar runner stretch, which is done with the hands against the wall, with the involved leg straight back, knee locked, and the toes pointing toward the opposite heel. In any case, hold the position at maximum stretch for 2 to 3 seconds, release, and repeat 8 to 10 times. Next, we are going to work on unlocking techniques, the next letter in the S.U.R.F, S-U-R-F method. These techniques work on the tension and the knots that develop in those tight muscles. Those knots are called trigger points, and these unlocking techniques will help you untie or untangle them. Stay tuned for that.